Hey everyone, it's Kiana Louise here, NPC figure competitor. So it's Thanksgiving, holidays, and so I decided to make a video to make a pretty healthy pumpkin cheesecake, as healthy as you could be for a cheesecake. Today's main ingredient is actually Reaction Nutrition's Pumpkin Spice Latte Protein Powder, which can be found at Total Athlete Nutrition. And my recipe calls for 1 can of pure pumpkin puree, unsweetened. You can either buy the can, but actually what I did was I took a pumpkin, it kind of was a lot of work, and I chopped it up, peeled it, and now I'm actually putting it to boil. So that takes about 25 minutes to boil, and I'll come back and we'll start making the crust to start. Alright, thanks, see you guys soon. Alright, so first we're going to make the crust. We're actually going to use vanilla wafers. You can use the reduced fat ones as well. I'm using the regular ones because I'm in off season. So you're going to count out 56 of these, which I have done already, as you can see in my little bowl. You will also need a tablespoon of butter. So I'm going to blend up the vanilla wafers in my Magic Bullet, or you can use a regular blender. And then I'm going to add the butter in, and it's going to come out like a coarse meal, like a crust. So I blended up my vanilla wafers and my butter, and it's made this nice little, as you can see, nice little graham cracker crust. Okay, and what I'm going to basically do is I've already sprayed my regular pie dish with some Pam, and I'm going to place the crust in the pan, and then I'm going to bake it in the oven. Alright, so it's going to bake at 400 degrees for about, I guess about like 10-15 minutes until it's like golden brown, and then we're going to put it to the side, and then we're going to put together the filling. Alright. Okay, so my pumpkin is done boiling. It's in the bowl, alright, and I have my hand mixer. I'm going to mix it, and that's going to be my pumpkin puree. If you don't have all this time, it's probably taken me over an hour and a half to do the whole pumpkin thing with a fresh pumpkin. You can always get a 15-ounce can of unsweetened pumpkin puree. Alright, now that the pumpkin part is done, I've got my fresh pumpkin puree. I've been saying puree, but actually puree is the proper word for it. I've got all my ingredients pretty much measured out. I'm going to use 16 ounces of fat-free cream cheese. I'm also going to use 16 ounces of fat-free Greek yogurt. Okay, and since I'm using so much fat-free stuff, we still need a little bit of fat, so I decided to replace the recipe that I found with a healthy fat. So I'm going to use coconut oil. Oh, timer says that my crust is done in the oven. Alright, so I have a half a cup measured out of coconut oil. Alright, my key ingredient, my Reaction Nutrition Pumpkin Spice Latte Protein Powder. Alright, then also mixed in here I have a half a cup of nutmeg and half a teaspoon of nutmeg and a half a teaspoon of ginger. Okay. And I had to do it, so I really don't like the artificial sweeteners. I'm against it. I'd rather natural stuff. So I actually have a half a cup of packed brown sugar. Alright. And then we're also going to use 3 tablespoons of wheat flour. And actually what I did is I sifted it so it's a lot smoother and it gets a little of the chunks out. Alright, and those are pretty much most of the ingredients, and then your pumpkin puree that's going to go into this cheesecake. So we'll start mixing it together, and I'll give you some more directions when I get back. Alright? Alright, so the first step is to combine the 16 ounces of the fat-free cream cheese and the 16 ounces of the Greek yogurt and my half a cup of coconut oil. Okay, we're going to combine it in a bowl, okay, and then we're going to use our mixer, our hand mixer, my old school hand mixer, and we're actually going to blend it all together until it's nice and smooth. So that's going to be our first step. try to keep it close to you so you don't make a mess. You don't want to have to clean up more than you need to. So I'm going to start adding my other ingredients. The first ingredient I'm going to put in is my ½ cup of brown sugar. So after you add each ingredient, you're supposed to kind of start mixing it so it mixes well together. So I added my brown sugar first into my cream cheese and Greek yogurt batter. Alright, once that's mixed in well, you add your next ingredient. So my next ingredient is the protein powder, and it's already mixed with the nutmeg and the ginger. Okay, then you blend that for a little while. Smells so good. So it should be getting thicker as you start adding more ingredients. Okay. My next ingredient is the 3 tablespoons of the whole wheat flour. You can actually use all-purpose flour, but since I'm trying to make it healthy, I chose whole wheat flour. That's 1, 2, and we have our last tablespoon, and which is 3. Okay, mix that together. I'm actually going to add my vanilla in too. So you want vanilla extract. You want 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Okay, I'm going to blend that together too. Alright, so once your batter is smooth, you want to add your next ingredient, which are 2 whole eggs. I have one of my eggs. 2 whole eggs. Try not to drop any shells in there. Okay. I'm going to blend that together. Alright, and then my last ingredient, I'm going to add this 15 ounces of my pumpkin puree. So if you bought a can, a 15-ounce can, you can just dump that in. That's the very last ingredient you're going to blend in. If you did fresh pumpkin puree, I keep saying puree when it's supposed to be puree. Fresh pumpkin puree, then you can just measure out 15 ounces and add that to the batter. And once everything's mixed together, I'll get back to you guys. Okay, so my oven was preheated for 325. So after I took the crust out, I brought it down from 400 to 325. And I don't want to make it fall, but I have filled my pie crust. So the measurements I basically kind of gave you guys looks like it's going to make about 2 different cheesecakes. So I'm going to go whip up another crust real quick. This is our finished product. Ta-da! See my notes there. Alright, so now we just have to let it sit and cool room temperature. Then we're going to cover it with some saran wrap and put it in the refrigerator, and it has to cool for about 8 hours. So obviously I won't be tasting it tonight. So you've got everything you need to put it together, and then I'll just eat it tomorrow. Remember, all my products, especially my Reaction Nutrition Pumpkin Spice Latte Protein Powder, my key ingredient, can be found at Total Athlete Nutrition, and they should be happy because I'm finally wearing a whole logo. And I'll see you guys soon.